Alrighty, folks, I'm trying to play catch up here. We're still 10 days behind. We had an article here out of Breitbart.com entitled Kamala Harris pledges to criminalize private gun sales via executive action. So, if she becomes POTUS. Whatever happened to shall not be infringed? Shall not be infringed. Could you imagine these type of folk back during the colonialists versus the British? Could you imagine one of these folks back then? And the possible trash they'd be spewing out of their mouth about this kind of stuff. My goodness. Absolute silly clowns. Just clown land. Infringing upon rights. Gun control equal gun confiscation. If you give an inch, they'll take a foot. And the only way you can have slaves is if they can't defend themselves. So, Democrat presidential hopeful Kamala Harris says she will use executive action to criminalize selling more than 5 guns a year without a background check. And then what, the next year, and then the next year, and then the next year after that. Just keep incrementalism, just infringe upon guns, that's all. That's how it would roll. I know how that's how it would go. So, this one item, take it, should automatically disqualify her from presidency. Auto disqualify, and for taking such an un-American stance, possibly revoke citizenship and deport. These people are just, I don't know. Being armed is the solution, not the problem, for Pete's sake. It would be fun to debate any of these folks. So, Harris, let me ask you a question. Let's say you do indeed disarm all Americans after becoming POTUS or whatever over a span of 8 years. Let's say you get the job done. The end game goal. Disarm Americans. All of them. All of us. Let's say you do that. Now, tell me accurately what the perception of foreign nations would be upon us if we were disarmed. You tell me what foreign perception of us would be. Especially China. I don't know if I do not know if she's paid by China at all in any way, and I'm not saying she is, but this kind of stuff would make me question that, because that would make them easily be able to conquer us, much more so if Americans were disarmed. There was a Japanese guy who had some sort of comment. There's like trying to conquer America would be like fighting every blade of grass because they're armed to the teeth. Hello, that's the best defense, is if everyone's armed. Not if everyone's disarmed. My gosh, imagine if the Chinese were disarmed when the Mongols were invading or wanted to invade, or the Romans disarmed when the Gauls wanted to invade. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? These people are bonkers. Bononkers. They need to go back and find their clown car. Democrat presidential hopeful Kamala Harris said she'll use executive action to criminalize selling more than 5 guns without a year without a background check. That's infringement. Good grief. Shall not be infringed. Even a dang background check would be infringing, for Pete's sake. This follows a consistent Democrat-led push to criminalize all private gun sales via universal background checks. Yeah, and then secret lists and red flag laws, which are completely un-American, and whoever is associated to those need to be citizenship revoked and deported. Whoever pushes those, proposes anything like that, hides it in any bill, whoever takes part in upholding those laws, they need to be deported, citizenship revoked. 101. We have to have our rights and be able to defend our rights from tyrannical government. Just 101. So, on February 28, Breitbart News reported that the Democrat-run House passed legislation to require a background check for every gun sale, thus criminalizing someone who sells a gun to a decades-long neighbor without government approval. So they get to decide who gets to have a gun or not, who sells a gun or not, who buys a gun or not. They get to decide. And they'll just undermine everyone with this garbage. They'll undermine everyone. They'll just keep inching along until they get 100% of their goal. This is incrementalism. It's a dangerous concept. It's a very dangerous concept. Incrementalism. It also criminalizes a friend who sells a gun to a lifelong friend without asking for government approval. Well, isn't that lovely? These people waste time. They propose garbage, destructive policy, and they've handed Trump the win in 2020. So, if they want to pull this kind of gun control stuff, Bernie Sanders wanted to overnight, he said overnight gun confiscation. I can tell you for sure they ain't going to be coming door to door. They don't got the cojones. These people aren't brave enough. They want henchmen to do the job for them. So they're not brave. They're not brave enough to. It wouldn't work. And if they pull some garbage like this, it would be probably a brief civil war. Probably a brief civil war if they want to pull some sort of gun control, gun confiscation type of ordeal. In a big sense, I'm not meaning incrementalism. That's not going to really spike patriots enough. If they go full scale confiscation, then probably trigger a civil war, but we're probably headed towards one either way. It just looks like it. It just looks like it from everything you see day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year. It just seems like we're headed towards some sort of event like that. It really does. This country needs to be darn set straight. Needs to be set straight. There's worlds of problems, but it'll take the right darn event to kick it off. I'll tell you that much, because people have some patience. That's good. We just can't allow for disarmament. We can't have that. Or else slaves can't fight back. All you'd have is slaves. So, absolutely insane. These people, just deport them. Charge them with treason or something. Might as well call them anti-patriots or turncoats or something. The anti-patriot party or the turncoat party. They want to flip the country on its head, as far as I'm concerned. So let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for more. I'll see you up ahead. As always, take care cool.